Hi folks, welcome to Writer's Review. Today we're going to be breaking down Season 3 of Stranger Things. Please subscribe. We break down films from a writer's perspective.
Why they fail or why they succeed. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you have not watched all of Stranger Things Season 3, watch it and then come back.
I seem to remember you had some little project you did about how you were a little disappointed with some of the choices made in Season 2.
We watch his program. Buy his toys, we go to his movies. He owes us. Doesn't he owe us? Huh? He owes the Griswolds, right? Fucking A, right, he owes us.
Angry, screaming, hour and 15-minute long video came out of that.
Well, I can only conclude that the Duffers must have seen your video because they, point by point, seem to have corrected every single one of those issues.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Highly doubt it. Season 1 was so perfect. Season 1 was like one of the best shows I've seen on television in years. The writing was flawless. Season 1 was pretty much as close to perfect as a show can get. It was just amazing.
The structure was perfect. They didn't introduce any elements that didn't have some sort of payoff later on in the season. Season 2 felt a lot more sloppy. It felt like they were kind of flying by the seat of their pants with it.
Yeah, well, we figured out why.
Yeah,
remember,
that's right.
I watched an interview with Finn Wolfhard at one of the Comic-Cons. I think it was the German Comic-Con. And he said that they wrote Season 2 as they filmed it.
And they wrote that storyline in the middle of the season. When we started filming, we had no idea where these two characters were going to end up. Because they write the show as we go along, as we shoot. No one writes it ahead of time. You sort of write it so you can build in stuff for the characters.
They had no idea what they were going to do with Steve's character. Mm-hmm. You know, when they started after the Nancy breakup, so they just kind of randomly placed him with Dustin.
Matt and Ross Duffer are like, oh man, Gaten's alone. Like, Dustin's alone. Who's he gonna? He doesn't have anyone. And then they're just like, oh wait, what would Steve be doing right now? We haven't seen Steve in a while. And he's like, yeah, he'd probably just be crying in his room. We can't have him in there. Like, he's just heartbroken because of Nancy. And then they're like, why don't we put these two characters together? Because they're both kind of alone and lost.
You can't do that when you have 8 main characters on your show. You've got to outline. You've got to figure out before you sit down to start writing what each character's arc is going to be and where you want them to end up. If you just kind of write or as you go, it becomes a mess. And Season 2 was a mess, and I have 3 videos breaking down why. Click here to check those out.
They took more time on Season 3. They plotted it out more, they planned it out, and they took those extra couple of steps to flesh out a real story.
I was delighted at about the 4th or 5th episode of Season 3 because I was watching it and it was like, oh my god, every character is doing something that makes sense. There's not one point in Season 3 where the character does something that's completely unrealistic just because the writers want that person to get from point A to point B. And they did that over and over and over again in Season 2. You had the characters making these decisions that made absolutely no sense because the writers wanted them to get from point A to point B. For example, Joyce taking her son to the Child Abuse Center of Indiana. 11, hiding in the woods for a month and a half, even though she's got 8 friends in walking distance of where she is that she could go ask help. 11's gonna run away because Mike Quarter smiled at another girl. She's been dying to see him for months and months, but because Quarter smiled at another girl, she's gonna run away from him forever. That was so stupid.
Oh, that was cheesy.
Hopper has to keep 11 hidden in the woods. She can't go outside. She can't even look out the window because the lab is so dangerous, but yet she's taking Will to see these people every week for treatment. Mm-hmm. Again, none of these things made sense.
Nah.
And I was furious watching Season 2 because it was just like, why this character wouldn't do that? This character wouldn't do that. That is ridiculous. And, you know, it was just like they were making these characters annoying and stupid because nobody would make this choice in this situation. So I'm watching Season 3 and I was just like, oh my god, the characters' choices all make sense.
Oh yeah.
This is amazing again.
That is why you fail. Will really has true sight. I mean, if he can really see into the Upside Down. Maybe he saw that shadow again yesterday.
And the dialogue in season 2, there's that one line, and Finn Wolfhard deserves mad props for saying this line and making it sound semi-normal.
We acquire more knowledge.
We acquire more knowledge. That's not how teenage boys talk, okay? That was a horribly written line. The dialogue was terrible.
Even if you're a Dungeons and Dragons geek, you don't talk like that.
Yeah, I even Googled that term, Dungeons and Dragons, and Googled it, G.I. Joe, and Googled we acquire more knowledge.
I didn't have to Google it.
With everything that was popular in the 80s to see if that was some sort of term from some sort of fan geekdom, but it wasn't. It was just horribly written dialogue. But what I loved about season 3 is you had the boys acting like boys.
Dude, you can smell the nacho cheese.
Burping and
farting
God, yeah. And
I got that beat. What? Oh no. No, Lucas, no. No.
acting like real kids.
8th and 9th grade, that is the peak of burping and farting for a young boy's life. So, kudos to them for getting that right.
My other gripe was the way the characters were portrayed. In season 1, they were so brave. In season 2, they made them wimpy. There was the one scene in particular when Billy shows up at the Byers' house and...
I cannot believe the scene where Billy is attacking Lucas. Really? Mike? Dustin? Anybody want to help out here? You want to be brave and step up? No?
He's got Lucas pinned up against the wall, and Mike and Dustin are just standing there like... And I'm like, are you kidding me?
One of them should be on his back.
I know.
Through the whole scene,
I know.
The other one should be trying to take him down at the legs.
So the characters, it was just badly shot, I think. They didn't know how
choreography.
Choreograph this fight scene. So then in season 3, I did have the gripe when Billy is attacking 11. For a couple of moments, all her friends are just standing there doing nothing. And I was like, come on, somebody get in there. Come on!
You piece of shit!
No, Mike. Hit him at least twice and then insult him. But it was better. It was much better. Growing up, I was this super shy, painfully shy, totally socially awkward girl, raised from an abusive home, and you were this geeky, nerdy Dungeons and Dragons playing kid. I'll give you 3 guesses who my 2 favorite characters are.
Nobody wants to know you now. Nobody wants to show you. Mike, stop.
11.
If we had known each other when we were kids, we would have been exactly like them. I mean, if you take away the evil government agents and the telekinetic powers and the interdimensional monsters chasing them, we would have been exactly like them. Season 2, they kept them apart through the whole season. I griped that 11's whole character arc was shoved into episode 7. Episode 7 felt like homework. You had to watch it, because if you didn't watch it, you would miss something. But yeah, it was painful to get through. I love that they didn't bring back even a single character from episode 7. They were just written out because the fans hated them so much. Like, okay, forget that. Forget all about 8. She's never going to be mentioned again. But yeah, so in season 2, 11's whole arc about not wanting to be as evil as 8 was shoved into 1 episode. Besides that, she spent the entire season alone in a cabin, sweeping the floor and reading files and cleaning up and watching television. So yeah, she barely had an arc. And then Mike didn't do anything all through season 2 except sit by Will's bedside and be his nurse. He had absolutely no arc. And then you brought them back together at the beginning of the last episode of the season.
What? Mike?
Oh look, 11 reunion. And I was fucking furious.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd hear about that one for a long time. But it's true. I mean, the dynamic between those two characters was one of the most captivating and interesting parts of season 1. Season 3, they're a little bit older, so they do get more into a boyfriend-girlfriend type of dynamic. You know, you're still figuring stuff out at that age.
Since I'm not Mormon, her parents would never approve. It's all a bit Shakespearean.
Shakespearean?
I remember what it was like to be that age, and I didn't date because I was really just too shy to date anyone, but I remember other kids that age.
Like Romeo and Juliet?
Right.
Like, they'd be together one day, and then they'd be broken up, and then they'd be back together, and then they'd be broken up, you know, like these high school relationships.
Star-crossed lovers.
I got it.
So I thought it was very honest and well depicted that they showed sort of like the confusion and chaos of what it's like to date someone your freshman, year in high school.
Mom, get off the phone! How many times?
Did Nana call?
No, Mom, just get off the phone!
How you've never done it before and it's all confusing, but then you slowly have to figure out how you're going to make this relationship work if you care about the other person. So it was well done and it was believable. And I like the scene when he's trying to tell her that he loves her, but he can't because he's too embarrassed to say it.
I've never felt like this, with anyone before. And they do say it makes you crazy.
What makes you crazy?
You never heard that term? Like the phrase, like, blank makes you crazy, like the word.
It was very much a throwback to the kiss in season 1. It was like the awkwardness of that moment, but it was really, really cute. So it's really hard to write that kind of dynamic in the middle of this crazy supernatural world, but I thought that was really well done. But yeah, when she dumped him at the mall,
I dump your ass.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, right. The moment the shit hits the fan, the moment the first supernatural being shows up and she gets scared, she's going to be clinging onto him for dear life. And then, oh yeah, there we go. Mike's arc was just like, okay, I can't be this completely controlling boyfriend. I gotta let her be by herself, and they had this nice little development.
I was jealous at first and angry, and that's why I said all that stupid stuff. And it's like, I wanted you all to myself. And now I realize how unfair that is, and selfish, and like, I'm sorry.
Season 3, the beginning, she's still kind of the way she was the other 2 seasons. Socially awkward, isolated, comes out of her shell, finds a friend, learns how to be a normal girl, loses her powers, and now she has to be even more of a normal girl and has to cope in the world without them. So that was really good.
So can we please just come up with a new plan, because I love her and I can't lose her again.
What's going on?
Nothing. What did I say exactly?
Mike. I love you too.
Yeah, my other gripe about season 2 was that Max was just this useless character who was thrown in, she had nothing to offer.
Hey, dickheads. How come the only one to help me out is this random girl?
Give the character something to offer besides rolling a barrel or the ability to move sheet metal around.
Yes, sir, so you should go home.
They made Max a lot more interesting in season 3. She's kind of there to be the best friend in the romantic comedy.
But that's important. You need, if you have a romantic lead, you need someone for her to play off of. She's the one that helps Eleven be a girl, and know what that is, because she's been locked up all her life.
Do you like that? How do I know what I like?
You just try things on until you find something that feels like you. Like me? Yeah. Not Hopper. Not Mike. You.
So I really loved seeing the girls come together and, have this nice friendship develop. That was very, very well done.
And, Max, being a skater kid, knows how to treat an injury.
Whoa, hey, what are you doing? Cleaning the wound. No, first we need to stop the bleeding, then clean, then disinfect, then bandage. I skateboard, trust me.
Which was nice too. They brought that in.
Yeah, they gave her something that she could offer, which, thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Lucas was to Mike what Max was to 11.
I had no choice, Lucas. I really had no choice. I just wish you consulted me, because the way you handled this, you're in deep shit. But you can fix this. It's just one little mistake. I've made hundreds, thousands. Max has dumped me 5 times. But what have I done? Huh? Have I despaired? No. I've marched back into battle, and I've won her back every single freaking time. How? I'll show you. Come on. I don't understand what we're looking for. Something pretty and shiny that says I'm sorry. Wait, so something that literally says I'm sorry? No!
I loved in season 3 how every character had something to offer. Every character had an arc. Every character changed, grew, and developed.
Well, please tell me this, and be honest. Have you ever actually won a fight? It's okay, you put up a good fight. You kicked your ass, but you put up a good fight, buddy, okay? You're okay.
Okay, that was one time.
Twice. Jonathan, year prior?
Listen, that doesn't count.
Why wouldn't it count? Because it looks like he beat the shit out of you. Dude! You did it! You won a fight!
Robin came in and helped them to translate the Russian.
You think you have evil Russians plotting against our country on tape, and you're trying to translate, but you haven't figured out a single word because you didn't realize the Russians use an entirely different alphabet than we do. Because maybe I can help. I'm fluent in 4 languages, you know.
From the get-go, she had a point in the story. She had something she could do.
When blue and yellow meet in the west, when blue meets yellow in the west.
Robin, what are you doing?
I cracked it.
Cracked what?
I cracked the code.
I love the fact that they finally brought in a gay character. So I like that they were brave enough to do that. I love the fact that she talked about that if Steve really knew her, he wouldn't like her.
He doesn't even know this girl. And if he did know her, like really know her, I don't think he'd even want to be her friend.
No, that's not true. No way is that true.
Because in the 80s, people were even more closeted. It was even more shameful to come out of the closet. So
and even more prejudice.
Yeah.
But I'm not like your other friends. And I'm not like Nancy Wheeler.
You know, they'd assume that you had some past trauma.
Psychological disorder.
Yeah.
It just wasn't acceptable for you to be gay.
Tammy Thompson's a girl.
Steve.
Yeah? Oh.
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was really, really well done.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Erica Sinclair, who are you?
Murray Bauman.
Erica, you know, his little sister was the only one like small enough to fit through the vents.
You know what this half-baked plan of yours sounds like to me? Child endangerment.
We'll be in radio contact with you the whole time.
Child endangerment.
So she had a purpose that only she could do. It made the characters interesting.
And it seems to me, my ability to fit into that little bit is very, very valuable to you all. You want my help? I'm talking free ice cream for life.
Oh my god. She was so funny and she was such a great character. She was such a brat.
Do this for America. Erica.
Ooh, I just got the chills. Oh yeah, from his float, not your speech.
Do you see anything? Booby traps?
If I could see them, they'd be pretty shit traps. Wouldn't they?
Thank you for that.
She was such a horrible little brat.
I'm in. I've been down in that shithole for 24 hours. And with all due respect, you do what this man tells you, you're all gonna die.
I'm sorry, why is this 4-year-old speaking to me?
I'm not breeding because I don't want to end up with something like that.
Isn't it time you die?
Psycho.
If I could be guaranteed if we were going to have kids that I was going to get one exactly like Mike Wheeler season 1, I would do it, but I'm not because I'm afraid I'm going to get one like Erica.
You're all so nerdy, it makes me physically ill.
I'm not breeding.
You never know what you're going to get.
Erica.
Keep saying my name, see what happens.
She was such a horrible little brat.
I'm 10, you bald bastard.
Erica! Call sign?
Bald Eagle.
Just the facts.
Please repeat.
Bald Eagle. This is Bald Eagle. I hate children.
Yes! What are you doing?
Yeah, Will, can you turn down the music?
Please address me by my full name.
What?
My full name!
Oh my god, okay, Will the Wise.
Can you please turn down the music? That is not music. That is the sound of destiny. I have seen into the future, and I've seen that today is a new day. A day free of girls.
Will is kind of struggling to figure out that he can't be a kid anymore.
No! It's a distraction! A trap! Do not answer it. No!
Elle?
No. Sorry, not interested. Telemarketers. The Kuazar tribe still need your help. Alright then. I'll use my torch to set fire to the chambers, sacrificing ourselves, killing the Jujus, and saving the Kuazar. We all live on as heroes in the memories of the Kawamar. Victory. Fine. You guys win.
I really related to that because when I was his age, all I wanted to do was keep playing games, and my best friend was like, "We're too old for this," and I got really sad.
But we're not kids anymore. I mean, what did you think, really? That we were never gonna get girlfriends? That we were just gonna sit in my basement all day and play games for the rest of our lives? Yeah. Yes, I did.
And good character work on Will too, because if you're gonna have one of the characters have some kind of arrested development, of course it's gonna be the one that went through the traumatic experience.
Yep.
Good job, Duffer.
Yeah, that was great.
A really good call on his character.
Let me get this little story of yours straight. So, little rodents have gone cuckoo in their furry little minds, and they're running around the town of Hawkins, dining out on chemicals.
I know how it sounds,
But you've got proof! I mean, fellas, you gotta admit it's a hell of a headline, right? Hawkins rodents prefer poison. Nut job tells all. Careful, they might have rabies.
The mysterious case of the missing fertilizer, a Nancy Drew mystery. Next time a call comes in, do what you were hired for, and let us know, yeah?
Nancy's character, you know, I really related to Nancy's character this season. This is the reason why I'm self-employed. This is the reason why I cannot have a normal job, because I will kill assholes like that.
Yeah.
I will fucking stab them with a knife and be fired and arrested.
It's about the missing mustard on my hamburger. You think you can follow the clues and solve the case of the missing condiment, Nancy Drew?
Look out, Phil. She might be after your job.
So I love the fact that, you know, her mom said to her, you know, rewrite it and release it to a bigger paper.
I'm proud of you. Proud of me for getting fired. That you stood up for yourself. That you stood up to those shitheads. Mom! Yes, those shitheads. And if you believe in this story, look at me, Nancy. Finish it. Then go and sell it to the Indianapolis Star or whatever. And I mean, can you imagine their faces when they read a story about their own town in a big paper like that? That would be pretty amazing.
And, you know, I loved seeing Nancy. I want to see more of her going out on her own as this rogue journalist.
We asked for forgiveness, not permission.
And Tom fires us.
You're fired. Both of you.
And then we never have to work at the shithole again.
You're relentless, you know that?
She became a really awesome character. The one I felt that was a little bit sacrificed this season was Jonathan. Jonathan didn't have that much to do. You know, like Mike's character kind of ended up on the chopping block in season 2, and they kind of did the same thing to Jonathan. He didn't really have that much of an arc, but he was still there, and he was still good in the scenes that he was in.
I told you over and over to drop this story. that it was a bad idea, but you refused, and now I'm screwed.
It's a summer job. Your life is hardly over.
I don't live in a 2-story house on Maple Street. My dad doesn't earn 6 figures. Mortgage, college tuition. You know, they're real things, Nancy. Things that you don't care about only because you don't have to.
I didn't realize I lived in a bubble.
Well, you do!
Had a cool dynamic between him and Nancy, and his conflict between, do I want the job or do I, want to stand by my girlfriend?
I mean, I was just completely, utterly, mortifyingly wrong. Don't let that go to your head.
I won't. I just look forward to you never doubting me again.
I hated what they did to Joyce in season 2. They turned her into an idiot.
And Joyce's character. Oh my God. You met 11. You know that she was in this lab and she was being experimented on. You know her name is 11, meaning there was at least 10 other kids that they were experimenting on. You met Becky and you saw Terry. You saw what they did to Terry's mind. This lab made you think your son was dead by putting a fake body of him in the river. After everything that they put Joyce through, why in the world would she bring her son here for weekly visits? Why in the world would you take your son here to see the doctors in this lab? Don't you realize that maybe these people would be more interested in experimenting on Will than treating him?
I will never, ever let anything bad happen to you ever again.
No, I'll just take you to the Child Abuse Center of Indiana.
Hey, I'm gonna be there the whole time, so it's gonna be okay.
As long as you're there with him, everything will be fine. Okay, Joyce, sure. How the hell do you know what these machines are doing to him? How do you know they're not electrocuting his brain right now? You can't even figure out which tape goes inside of your fucking VCR.
I'm trying to watch your video thingy, and the tape, it's tiny. It's like it's shrunk.
Oh my God.
She's so stupid.
Yeah.
They made her an idiot. But then I loved what they did with her at the end of season 3. It was
Dustin! We're out of time! Hurry! Close it now! Close it!
Joyce is the one who figures out how to turn both keys simultaneously by herself and save the day. I was like, yes, you made her go from a total idiot to somebody who's smart and figures it out on her own.
Hopper starts out really kind of gritty at the beginning of season 3. He's struggling with his alcoholism, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, Gardner from Tommyknockers. I was like, oh, they made him Guard. And looking back, I should have seen it coming that they were going to kill him off because of that, because that's Gardner's character arc too. You know, he saves everybody, but he kills himself in the process.
He being the one who died at the end. I think it had to happen because eventually you have to kill off one of your main characters. You have to kill off a character who has been around since season 1, episode 1.
Jim, where's Jim?
You know, I was crying buckets at the end. It really got to me, especially to see where she reads the letter, because he couldn't ever open up, and this was finally, he was trying to open up, and it was really, really sweet.
I've been stuck in one place. In a cave, you might say. A deep, dark cave. And then I left some egos out in the woods, and you came into my life, and for the first time in a long time, I started to feel things again.
I think it had to happen because eventually you you have to kill off one of your main characters. You have to kill off a character who has been around since season 1, episode 1. I know they killed off Billy and they killed off Bob, but those were, season 2 introductions. You've got to kill off one of the main core characters that's been there from the beginning, because if there's all this drama and all this action and all this tension and all this danger and none of the original characters ever die, it becomes unrealistic. So I think the decision to kill him off, while tragic and sad, he had to die.
Dusty Bun, you copy?
I copy, Susie Poo. It sounds much better now, thanks.
Susie.
Okay, so listen. Do you know Planck's constant?
Do you know the Earth orbits the sun?
Okay, so I know it starts with 2 6s, and then well, what is it?
That actually was an effective move from a writer's standpoint, because you're heightening the tension by throwing this totally random element in there. First of all, there's a revelation. Oh, hey, Susie actually does exist, even though nobody thought that she did.
And she kind of looked like a young B.B. Cates, the actress.
A little bit, yeah.
The hair and the facial features, you can see on a few years she will resemble B.B. Cates,
Yeah, that's a good call on that. And point 2, all of a sudden we have to throw up this totally random thing between her and Dustin in order to get to the piece of information that they desperately need.
Turn around. Look at what you see in her face. The mirror of your dreams.
Make believe I'm everywhere. Give it in the light. Written on the pages is the answer to a never-ending story.
But it was funny. You saw the adults just like, oh my god, banging their heads and rolling their eyes. Personally, I loved it because I loved the never-ending story. I was in love with Atreyu. I used to write Atreyu love letters and put them under my bed, and I was convinced that under my bed there was a portal to Fantasia, and he would find them and read them and fall in love with me. He was my first sexual feelings ever was Atreyu, okay? And sorry, but he was. I loved his hair. He had the best hair. It was so shiny.
Planck's constant is 6.62607004.
I complained during the season 2 review that there was too much CGI. The Mind Flayer was not a good supernatural villain compared to the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon could show up anywhere and take anyone, and it was terrifying, but the Mind Flayer was only affecting Will. It was only upsetting because it was affecting this child, and it was upsetting because you saw him being, taken over by this entity, but it wasn't as thrilling because everybody else was physically safe. So they turned the Mind Flayer from this shadowy CGI thing in the sky that no character could interact with, actually made him a physical threat.
The key to a good horror story isn't just having a supernatural villain. You gotta have the human element too, which was a trademark of every Stephen King story in the 80s.
In season 2, there was not a good human antagonist. The lab was stripped of all its power. You went from Dr. Brenner in season 1, who was this awesome human antagonist, to Paul Reiser, and they hired him to kind of come in and be similar to his character in Aliens, the evil bastard pulling the strings.
Over there! Yeah! Ready? Yeah!
Burke! It was Burke!
I say we grease this rat fuck son of a bitch right now.
He figured that he could get an alien back through quarantine if one of us was impregnated.
But they turned him into more of his My Two Dads character.
This is me, Nicole Bradford. Cute, huh? This is my dad, and this is my dad.
You can count on me.
was just the nicest guy, and Hopper intimidated him in every scene.
All right, so you're giving me orders now? No.
I keep things nice and quiet for you. And you keep your shit out of my town. That is the deal. I have done my part. Now you do yours.
Convince me.
There's no threat. There's no threat.
He had no ability to antagonize anybody. He was not written to be an antagonist. So the lab is stripped of all its power. There's no human antagonist in the lab. And then Billy was just a god-awful, horribly written character. They said that they wanted someone like a Stephen King character, like a Henry Bowers character, but they didn't write him to be a psychopath or a sociopath. Again, break down why in the other review if you want to watch it. So yeah, he was just a horribly, horribly written character. So in season 2, there was no human antagonist.
Yeah, so with no human antagonist and just this kind of vague, disembodied supernatural threat that's really only affecting one kid, you didn't have any stakes in season 2 to speak of. Season 3, they figured out what they wanted to do with Billy, finally. They had a definite plan.
Yeah, he actually became a really good antagonist.
It took him getting possessed by
the Mind Flayer.
Yeah, big freaking monster to bring that out of him. But
it actually worked. It worked really well. He actually became this character that was menacing and terrifying and unpredictable. And
yeah, and you had that nice conflict between the thing possessing him and the human elements that were coming out.
It's not my fault. Oh, Max, I promise you, it's not my fault.
Well, it's not your fault, Billy.
I've done things, Max, really bad things. He made me do it.
What did he make you do?
It's not my fault, okay, Max, please. Please believe me, Max, it's not my fault.
And it sort of brought out the best of his human elements at the end.
they also brought in Soviets as the evil antagonists to sort of replace all the antagonists we lost when they stripped the lab of all its power. I thought was really well done. It worked. I thought it worked well. We had a good antagonist, a good supernatural antagonist, and a good human antagonist. A couple of good human antagonists. So I think season 3 succeeded where season 2 failed in that way. Now they're talking about maybe he's not dead because in the after credits scene they said that, don't not the American, so they have an American in the cell.
Не американцы.
I don't think it should be Hopper because again, you've got to kill off a main character.
Yeah, it probably is though.
It probably is. I hope it's not. I hope.
Who else would it be?
I think it's Dr. Brenner.
Oh.
Because they've been hinting that they hinted all through season 2 that he's not really dead.
Wait. I can help. I can help you find him.
Find who?
Brenner! I can take you to him.
Papa is gone.
No, he is alive.
And, wouldn't that just be the best karma for him? Oh, like being in a lab with scientists experimenting on you? Karma.
There you go. You hear that? The Duffer Brothers just saw that and changed their mind. Bet you they're rewriting right now as they speak.
Yeah, they took every complaint that I had about season 2 and fixed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy because if you notice, the format for the season 2 review is completely different from the format from all of our other videos, because originally I uploaded that onto another channel and it had 6 subscribers, and eventually I just canceled it because no one wanted to admit that season 2 was bad. Everyone was in just like total fan denial. It was like Star Wars prequel fan denial, and then I saw like a year later some other people on YouTube were finally complaining about the fact that season 2 was not that good, and I was like, oh, people are finally opening their eyes. It's like the fan blinders are coming off, and so I'm like, I'm gonna re-upload it onto your channel because I've got it here and it's ready to go. So I just re-uploaded it, and that's why. But yeah, it was crazy. I cannot imagine that the Duffers saw it. It had 6 subscribers. It was not successful.
2 of them were Duffers. 2 Duffers, 4 regular people.
Yeah, 1 person. 2 Duffers, you, and then 3 other people we don't know. But they fixed every complaint that I had. So, Duffers, if you ever see this, I'm sorry I made Fizzgig and then Gollum scream at you.
Yeah, well, somebody had to.
Alright, so final score, season 1 was an A+. I gave season 2 a D. I think season 3 was an A-. The only reason I don't think it was an A+ is because season 1 really felt like it was from the 80s. Felt like somebody found it in a vault somewhere, digitally cleaned up the film and re-released it, and it just felt like it was from the 80s. No other season has been able to recapture that feeling quite as much. It just doesn't feel like it was filmed in the 80s the way season 1 did. But it was still great. It was still really, really good.
It's very rare that you see a series redeem itself like that. I can't think of any TV show that had a weak second season that came back with a strong third. We've got links in the description down below. If you want to criticize something I've written for a change, by all means buy one of my books.
Please subscribe.
Thanks for watching Writer's Reviews, so let it be written.
So mote it be. Bye.